Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So it must be a day that ends in Y because we have another performative virtue signaling stunt from a VTuber who's desperate for attention. Today we're talking about this account, Kirio, who's the indie account of the former Niji Sanji talent Hex Haywire, if you know that name. This account is filled with nothing but virtue signaling. Pretty much they moved on from Niji Sanji, went back to their personal account, and just said, hey, I'm going to do nothing but virtue signaling. And honestly, the account is very parasocial as well. It's not just like, oh, we're trying to have a close community here. It's filled with nothing but thirst trapping, love bombing of fans, as well as him randomly saying super concerning stuff about his mental health or his well-being that riles up those very parasocial people into a frenzy. But today we're looking at the latest performative stunt, one that has been absolutely backfiring because of his hypocrisy and, quite frankly, just the pathetic nature of being a self-hating man. So he said this: "We're not hating men enough. Even George Floyd, Kirio?" Yeah, that is a sort of meme that people have always done to posts similar to this. The one example I'm thinking of right now, someone said that in response, and the original poster said, "Ugh, you're disgusting, you're blocked." Well, that's a natural extension of this sort of logic. If you're going to say, we're not hating men enough, you're talking about all men. And that includes you too, which is absolutely ridiculous. When it comes to these sorts of posts, these self-deprecating, self-hating posts, I can't think of anything more pathetic. I think it's incredibly pathetic to either be brainwashed into hating yourself or to pretend to hate yourself for the sake of virtue signaling, especially when it comes to parts of your identity that you were born with. For example, a self-hating man or a self-hating white person, and so on and so forth with related examples. This is really performative and ridiculous. I mean, this is the same energy as those guys in college who LARP as feminists because they believe in their hearts that it'll increase their chance of getting with women. This is the same thing, just repackaged in the VTubing scene where this guy's like, hey, ladies out there, I'm not like these other guys. I hate them. So can I get a crumb? Just a small crumb, please. Like, this is so transparent. Anybody who's looking at this, who's not desperately simping for someone like this, or is not a misandrist or a self-hating performative man, they see through this crap. Okay? It's actually pathetic. And the quotes, we're looking at this saying, performative male. Comments like this were the ones that radicalized an entire generation in the direction opposite to yours. This one saying he sounds desperate for action. Agree speaking with toxic feminist won't get you laid. Dang, a self-hating man so insecure he has to appeal to low IQ misandrists just because you have low self-esteem doesn't mean you should hate those around you. Does your dad count? Saying that as if misandry isn't a daily occurrence on this app, which it very much is. Now, let's move on to some recent posts that show his hypocrisy. Only a few months ago, or actually pretty much a month to the day, he said people on this site are getting way too comfy with being unkind. Wow, you know what? You want to know what unkindness looks like? It's right here. We're not hating men enough. That is unkindness. But of course, a month later, I guess that standard doesn't really hold up anymore. In fact, if you just keyword search men on this guy's account, it is a horror show. Just pathetic. The male VTuber sphere suffers because there are men in it. So quit. You're a man. You're saying all men here. You quit. Make the scene a better place. Go by your own logic. I hate men. Men can be so handsome. I wish they were good people. Why is it so difficult for men to be emotionally available and honest with their feelings gently? Why bear that weight? I get angry whenever women say they don't listen to the opinions of men because I started not listening to men's opinions first. Manipulative men are the worst people. Anyway, live on Twitch, deleting all my socials and crying if you don't come. Dude, you should have followed through on that promise because it is a slop factory. Okay? There's a reason why you don't feel like you're enough. I'm not trying to be mean here, but when you're self-deprecating, you are hating on your own identity you were born with, of course you're going to be miserable. And again, like with the parasocial aspect I brought up, like we're not even getting into the tweets where he's talking about like offing himself and stuff like that. Like this is the type of stuff that riles up these people. Like it's a very intentional effort to generate an emotional response out of people who feel very invested in what he's doing and what they believe is him as a person, right? But of course, there's one thing I want to point out here because it happens every single time. You look at the account, right? It has the blue check mark, okay? Now, some people are looking at the posts about hating men. They're like, is this engagement bait? Is this legitimate belief? Or is this virtue signaling to try to impress people that he wants to cater to? I don't know, but there's definitely a mix in my opinion. And it's always funny. All the virtue signalers, all these people, they always have a blue check mark, which means they're paying Twitter and as a consequence, Elon Musk to have this badge so they can make money through their tweets. Okay, and this guy has made it very obvious. He said right here, literally a week and a half ago, please make this tweet go viral. I want to see how much Twitter pays. Not that long ago, there was a big trend, even in the VTubing scene, where people were being called transphobic for having a Twitter blue badge because people said Elon Musk, in their eyes, is a transphobe, and if you buy Twitter blue, you're financially supporting a transphobe, therefore you're transphobic yourself. It's just like with J.K. Rowling, okay? People will call you a transphobe for buying her books or buying Hogwarts Legacy because they believe supporting her in any tangible sort of way, even supporting the IP she owns, is somehow going to make you a transphobe. And I see this with all these people who constantly virtue signal about everything. They're always blue check marks. It's almost without fail. But yeah, this guy, I'm glad he left Niji Sanji to pursue his true efforts, and that is to hate on men, and as a very logical consequence, hate on himself. It's just really obnoxious. There's so much virtue signaling in the VTubing scene, and there's nothing to get out of this. By the way, talking about the engagement bait and the farming ad revenue on Twitter, the ad revenue rates on Twitter are abysmal. This tweet right here probably generated like 15 cents. Like, you have to like literally just be like throwing tweets out 24/7, going viral constantly just to even make something that's even considered worth your while. But this guy is doing it for pennies on the dollar just to show how much of a self-hating man he is, to either engagement bait, farm his fan base, or to virtue signal for the worst people you can pretty much find on Twitter who seal clap at anything that attacks men. It's just pathetic behavior, self-hating, ugh, disgusting stuff. But anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.